How would you like to be the first millionaire in your family? Okay, so in this video, it's in two parts. In the first part, I'm going to show you the numbers that you need to start thinking about if you want to make $1 million. In the second stage, I'm going to show you how to apply that thinking in your situation so that you can actually go out and do this. Let's jump straight in. If you want to make £1 million, or for that matter, any amount, the first thing to do is to set yourself some targets. So let's start with £100,000 per year. So your first target is to figure out how to make £100,000 over the next 365 days. Now that slices down to just £274 a day. So let's look at different price points. If you've got to make £274 per day and the item you're selling is £10, then you've got to sell 28 of those per day. However, if your item or service is £50, you only need to sell 5.5 a day. If what you're selling is £150, you need to sell less than 2 per day. And if what you're selling is £350, it drops all the way down to 5.5 per week. So those are the numbers, but you should have questions. So first of all, what are you going to sell? And what about tax? And what about costs of supplying whatever it is you're selling? And what about the cost of the product or the delivery method or the marketing or the sales or the staff and all of these things? And you'd be right to consider all of those. But that's not really the problem. You see, for many people, whatever the sum of money is, whether it's £1 million or £1,000, depending on your situation right now, it can often seem like a ridiculous goal. It's just too big, too far away. We just can't see ourselves able to achieve it. And often what happens with new business owners is they start with a hope that what they're doing is going to make them some money. But it's a more intelligent way to look at this the other way around. What's the amount of money that I need to get to? And then to break it down and to start to see the effect of different price points. You can see already, if we look at £10 to £50 or 50 to 150, there's a massive difference in how many of that particular item or service we need to sell. I think also about all the ways in which you can add value. Don't just think about selling product or selling items. This could also be about selling your time or information or a consultancy or a service or education. Now all of these need your time, not just a physical product. And in that, you have a far greater level of margin. And of course, you've got to be paying your taxes, you've got to be paying your colleagues, your staff, your suppliers. But the process I've just shared with you is one of the best methods to get into the idea of understanding how you've got to price, how many you've got to sell, so you can start to build and launch a successful business. We've talked about price points, but we ought to talk about what you sell and we ought to talk about where you sell it. So at the moment, everybody assumes everything's got to be sold online and probably on some self-made website that we can get the product out to everybody. But if you do this, you're restricting your ability to really think about all the different ways in which you could make some money, whether it's selling product or service. Let me give you an example. Back when I was 17, way before the internet, I used to look through the local classified papers and I would find people who were selling gardening tools, spades and trowels and rakes and so on. And in most cases, these were people who had a whole load of this stuff and they just wanted to get rid of it. So I would turn up, hand over the money they wanted, take it back to my house, spend a couple of hours cleaning it up, and then I would sell it at the car boot. So what I'm saying is, don't discount any particular place to find what it is you want to sell or where you might want to be selling it on. You could, for example, buy something from one website and sell it on a different website. This is a process called arbitrage. You can often find something in one place. You might find it at a car boot, clean it up, and then sell it online. Indeed, if you're selling a service, you might find that your service would sell better on one site than a different site. The important point here is you've got to be able to figure out, look around and explore and find some different ways of selling the things you want to sell, the services you want to sell in the best possible way, or the best possible place, at the best possible price. And that's all there is to it. Just how easy is that to make £1 million? All right, fair enough. It's not that easy. But it's not that hard either, is it? I've given you two key sections of this video. The first section is to look at the price points. Whether you're selling product or service, you've got to figure out how many you've got to sell at the right price to get to the next target you want. And then I've suggested you think about where you're going to sell. And there could be all sorts of different ways that you can get your product or service out to the market. But spend some time on this, find the right place, and see what you could do to get yourself closer to that million. Thanks for watching. I would really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this video, let me know, like it. Hey, listen, if you get anywhere closer to your next target, whether it's $1 million or 10 million or £1,000, write it in the comments. Let me know how you're getting on. And as always, if this has helped you, please subscribe.